Hello, Trey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Very good. Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my background. I got into Scientology in 1969 and pretty much became an auditor right away. And I've been a full-time auditor for 42 years now. And I left the church about 3.5 years ago, and I started auditing independently. And it's been quite good. There's been a lot of people that have had problems completing their case and going up the bridge, the church, for various arbitrary reasons that anybody that's been around for a while is very familiar with. So I just thought I would create a space where people could achieve what they came in to achieve, and just do what they wanted to do, and there's not a lot of complications to it. People come and they get audited. I've been auditing the L's. I learned how to audit the L's, and they've been fantastic. The wins have been incredible, and not to be too general about it, but one of the things that you're working towards as a being is to become more pan-determined, and that means not like automatically taking sides on things. And the reason why people do that is because of the kind of case that the L's handle. It's called your GPM bank, which is chronic problems on the whole track. And it's remarkable the number of things that people have gotten involved in over the eons, and the complications that they've created. And people have played many games and had many identities. And when those identities have become sort of abandoned, they'll go on automatic. And so in present time life, when you're confronted with a certain kind of a situation, you'll have a knee-jerk reaction, and you'll flip into one of these earlier games and one of these earlier identities, and you either oppose something or you're a proponent of something, and all that has to do with sort of an irrational reaction. It's not necessarily analytical. So when you audit out your L's case, you're reducing all of that kind of tendency to be so partisan about things. And if you just take sides, that's sort of an indicator. But the things that really get your blood boiling, that's part of your GPM track. And you can run out that stuff so that you're just, you're a lot more peaceful and a lot calmer in life. And, you know what games you're playing. You're not playing unconscious games or half doing this, half doing that. People get into certain viewpoints, and from that viewpoint, they'll do certain things, and then they'll create certain things, and then they'll go, what was I thinking? So, one of the goals of Scientology auditing is a consistency of self, a continuity of beingness. And when you've completed your L's, that's what you have.
I see. Thank you. When somebody leaves the church, they feel like they have left the Scientology, and they feel it as a huge heresy break. What can you say on that?
Well, because they've thought of themselves, if they feel that way, they've probably thought of themselves as being in Scientology. And the in part of Scientology would be the space that the orgs create. However, that's not really the best way to look at it. The best way to look at it is that you as a being have learned certain principles and certain tech, and you're using those things to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Now, anybody that learns that the only thing that anybody has in common that's in Scientology is that they're in Scientology. Other than that, they really have very little in common. I mean, there's so many different kinds of people and so many different kinds of viewpoints that there is no, the idea that there's that Scientology is the thing that you're in is kind of an odd idea. I mean, the truth is that Scientology is a tech that's available to anybody, and they can use that to create the life that they want in the way that they want it. And they can associate with people who have similar ideas, or are on the same page, or are not associated. So, that's one of the freedoms you have, is the freedom of association. So, Scientology is much bigger than whatever the spaces were that people felt that they were in.
Okay, okay. Here's a question that I like to ask everybody who I'm interviewing here. What do you do to keep Scientology working?
Well, I audit people. This week I did 43 hours in the chair, and this is my 5th straight week of 40 hours of auditing. About 3/4 of that is L's auditing, but I'm doing grades, life repair, book 1. I mean, I do all kinds of auditing. And the idea of Scientology working is, again, it's a very individual thing. The real question is, does Scientology work for you? If you're not getting auditing, if you're not applying the tech, well, Scientology's not working for you. But it doesn't really matter where you are or who you are. If you have access to the tech, if you apply what you know, if you avail yourself of technical people who can audit you, well, then Scientology's working for you, and that's really the bottom line.
Okay. How do you see the future of Scientology?
Well, I see that Scientology as a applied religious philosophy is really unstoppable at this point. At some point it was sort of touch and go. I mean, back in the 60s, I mean, there were fewer than 500 Scientologists on the planet. You know, it was pretty much, I mean, when I got in Scientology, nobody had ever heard of Scientology. But there's so many people that have been trained and have been on staff and, you know, who've gone OT and have been trained as auditors that whether they're with the organization or whether they're independent, it's just going to snowball from here on out. And what's going to be successful are the people that are applying it well, and people that don't apply it well are just simply going to fade away and not be part of it. But I think its growth is assured.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Trey. We are going to see some of your pre-clears here, right?
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, thank you.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.